The Lord has been preparing me for this ministry for the past 6 years now. So He had me work in a mental health hospital, which you can call psychiatric hospitals. And I worked in that setting for like 5 years. But He had me work as a support worker, not as a mental health nurse, because I did ask him to actually want me to do mental health nurse. He said no, not mental, just work as a support worker. And what that entails is that you are dealing, on one-on-one with the patients. Okay, so you get to know so much about the patients. You get to know what mental health does to these human beings that find themselves in these predicaments. So you see the worst of the illness in them. So I worked in that setting for like five years, and then when COVID came out, I caught COVID. I was one of the first people that contacted COVID in United Kingdom through the mental health hospital that I was working in. And it was quite severe on me. So I was sick for like six weeks. So while I was nursing myself at home, I remember the Lord did tell me what to take for it. And He was the one, because a lot of people were coming with different suggestions of what I have to take to cure the COVID-19. Because people were quite terrified. I was terrified because I was extremely sick. I've never been so sick in my life. But I was at home because the hospitals were not receiving patients of COVID. But in the middle of all that, the Lord came and said to me, He said, Josephine, I've had all of these things that people are telling you to take. He said, please start taking warm water, which I did. But let me not digress. It was on that, and that is why I'm highlighting that experience with the COVID. It was in that when I started doing what the Lord asked me to take, like the warm water, and that cleans it out. As I take it, I see improvement in the COVID sickness that I was suffering. I think the fourth or the fifth week, the Holy Spirit came back again and said to me, but this was in the dream. He said to me, I need you to go back to university and finish up your law program, because I had done a law degree many years ago before I was married and had my children. So he said, I want you to go. So I've done my first degree then in law, but I didn't go to my law school. I had a child and I decided to focus on my child and subsequently have another one. So my life got diverted to the children. But the Lord now said to me, I want you to go back to university and complete your law program. And at the point, I thought that, Lord, how am I going to do this? The income that I have coming in into the family is barely enough, let alone going to pay for tuition fees for uni. What the Lord did, He helped me find a uni, and then I was doing a part-time. He said, you can do part-time. So I enrolled University of Westminster on part-time. And then because my university and my law degree has been so far up, it's gone stale in the profession. They said if after 5 years, it's gone stale. And mine was well beyond 5 years. So I had to do postgraduate diploma in law, which is like a refresher course for me, because I already have a law degree. So it's like a refresher course for me. But it's also a conversion course for individuals that have degree in other areas or in other faculties. So when I finished that 2-year postgraduate diploma in law, I then moved on to do my LPC, which is like a law school in some other country, like so my LPC. But that is still ongoing. Because I still have few exams to complete that my law program. So when I put a stop to that due to personal circumstances that came upon me while I was studying that LPC, I had to put a stop to things. I sort of withdrew so that I can resolve the issues that came up in the family. While I did that, I had that break. Then after like 3 months or so, the Lord came and said to me, "Why you're waiting to go back to complete your law program?" He said to me, "I need you to go and do principles of mental health." Principles of mental health. I couldn't understand why. In a way, I was kind of upset. I said, "Lord, why do I have to do another course and a different course?" He said, "All of the course I've asked you to do," he said, "all of them are useful for the work you're going to do for me." And then the way he put it, he said, "You're going to use that certificate and do something for me." And that's the way he put it. He said, "Go and do it." So I went on and do some research online, and I was able to find an organization that would help to train people for skills. They're called Skill Network. So I got in touch with them, complete the application form, and they got me in. First they tried to get me a sponsor, because that's what they do. They will get sponsors and get applicants, and they match the two parties together. And if they agree, then they will enroll you into the course. So they got, they tried to get a sponsor for me, and we were not able to do that because they had a high volume of applicants. And then, but they kept on coming to me every couple of weeks to say, "We're still looking for sponsor for you." So at the end of the 2 months into that application, they said to me they've closed my application form down because they were not able to get enough sponsors for the amount of applicants that they had looking for sponsorship. And then I went back to the Lord. I said to the Lord, "Do I have to do this course?" He said, "You must do that course." So when he used the word "you must," then I realized that it is crucial for him. He wants me to do it. I cannot escape not doing it. So now I said, "But Lord, they have closed my application." Still, Skill Network said they don't have enough sponsors to pay for the fees. Okay, so the Lord now said to me, "When you leave my presence, call them on the phone. Do not send email, because usually the organization and I we communicate through emails." So the Lord said, "Do not email them, call them on the phone." So I followed the Lord's instruction. I called the company, and then the lady that picked up the phone, I explained my situation to her. I said, "But you've closed my application from blah, blah, blah." She said, "Okay." She said, "Hold on, let me speak to my manager." Few minutes down the line, she came back to the line. She said to me, she started by apologizing and said, "We are very sorry for closing your application form." He said the reason was that there was too many applicants and very limited sponsors. I said, "Fine." He said, "But however, well, as of a couple of days ago, we have new sponsors that came in, and we're putting you on top of the list. You're a priority." I said, "Wow, that's great." So she said, "Within the next 2 days, we're going to have you up and running." So the next day, they sent me the offer from the sponsor, and I accepted it and signed the document. And that's it. That's it. They put me on the program. So I was able to do that course. But in the beginning, I didn't realize why the Lord wanted me to do that course. But when I started the course, oh my God, the course is so informative, very comprehensive, very empowering. Knowledge-wise, it was very empowering. It was really everything that you need to know about managing individual with mental illness. All aspects of it: assessment, risk assessment, how to work the treatment models, the mental health legislations that are, the regulatory bodies, interventions, different kinds of intervention. Everything that you need to know was, included in that course. And it was really, really, I really valued it, let me tell you. It really, really gave me such understanding about mental health, how you manage it, how you handle everything that I need to know. It was quite a useful course. And trust God. He knows what he's doing. When he's directing you to do a certain thing, do it in obedience, even when it does not make sense, because my one did not make sense at that point. I could not coordinate it. 1 minute I'm doing law, and then I'm doing mental health. But they all comes together in the end. All of them comes together, because by the time I finish all of these courses, then the Lord said to me, "You're gonna be using, I need you to represent my people when it comes to legal issues, my people with mental health." So you see them in criminal justice system, we have them in the community, we have them in hospitals, psychiatric hospitals. When they get sections, you can appeal. You can appeal. And then when their liberty is going to be taken away from them, there is a legislation that deals with that. And in that legislation, because I've studied all of those things, I know that, families, the right they have to say, no, you cannot section my people, but everything has to be reasonable, because the paramount thing is that the safety of the patient and the members of the public, because that's the very reason why they get sectioned. Section is to you section them, for treatment. So you have to weigh each case is according to the circumstances of the case and the risk level that is involved, that is applicable to that individual case when you're representing them in tribunals or in court, criminal justice system. Even the ones that are convicted in the prison, they also either they plead mental health as a defense, or while they're already convicted and they're serving their sentence, you could find a situation where they mostly, because they take so much drugs, so that predispose them to mental illnesses as well. So you get a lot of them that are suffering mental health issues because of substance abuse in the prison as well. So the Lord, that's how the Lord has really prepared me for this ministry. While he was doing that with me, he was building me up as well spiritually. All of these courses, especially working in the hospital and seeing this individual and studying the principles of mental health, has empowered me with knowledge, and most importantly, the impact of mental health illnesses on the sufferer. It is very debilitating. It is very devastating. It robs the individual their personality, and the impact is also felt by family members. They feel very helpless. You see people broken, that families, they come, they cry. They see their young ones, their children in these hospitals. They feel helpless because they don't know what to do.